have a love-hate, well, actually, it's a love-fear relationship with heights. As long as I have something around me, like an airplane, or something to hold on to, like a nice sturdy railing, I love being up high. Otherwise, heights terrify me. I used to say that if I were wearing a parachute in an airplane that was on fire, someone would have to push me out and then pry my hands away from the sides of the doorway. So why on earth did I suddenly decide to take a leap of faith and celebrate my 70th birthday by jumping out of a perfectly good airplane? Well, when I was in my 40s, I took flying lessons, and people said, "Oh, you're so brave." After I got my pilot's license, I flew my husband and our two children from Oxnard, California to Salt Lake City, California. And people said, "Oh, you're so brave." When I was in my 60s, I made several trips to Australia, traveling to and around the country by myself. And people said, "You guessed it. Oh, you're so brave." I disagreed. To me, being brave is doing something you're afraid of. I wasn't afraid to do any of those things, so I didn't think they were brave. I finally decided that if people were going to keep calling me brave, I needed to do something I thought was brave. My son Dan had recently gone skydiving, so that seemed like a logical something. My approaching birthday fell on a Saturday that year, so I decided that would be a good day for it. I don't believe in astrology, but for entertainment, I read my horoscope in the newspaper every day. I often have a good laugh over how far off the mark it is. But the day before my birthday, I didn't laugh. It said, "You're contemplating a great leap of faith." Well, after all, even a stopped clock is right once in a while. When the day came, Dan drove me to the jump school at Paris Lake. My daughter Irene and her husband Dave met us there. After we chatted a bit, I went inside. There I met Jim, the instructor who would be jumping with me, since I had chosen to do a tandem jump. First thing I had to do was watch a 15-minute video in which a lawyer discussed at great length everything that could possibly go wrong. Many of his sentences ended with, "resulting in death or injury." When the video finally ended, I was given a printout of what the lawyer had said. I had to initial every paragraph and then sign a document that basically said, "I can't say you didn't warn me, and I promise not to sue." Then I went back to Jim for my instructions. While a solo jump requires hours of training, in a tandem jump, the instructor does all the work. So you just need to know a couple of things that are expected of you. I was fitted with a jumpsuit and a harness. Jim put on his parachute and we went outside. There he buckled us together and we boarded the jump plane along with several other jumpers. When we were in the air, he mentioned that it was my birthday and everybody on board sang happy birthday to me. When we reached the jump altitude, the door was open and the first jumper went out. Then it was our turn. We stood up, walked over to the doorway and sat down. Sitting in the open doorway of that airplane with my legs dangling outside, looking at the ground 4,500 feet below, was the most terrifying experience of my life. After what seemed like an eternity, but was probably just a couple of minutes, Jim gave me the signal and we rocked forward. 1, 2, 3, and we were out. My first feeling was one of empowerment. I thought, if I can do this, I can do anything. Next, I felt surprise. Although I could tell we were moving very fast, it really didn't feel like falling. Whew. Finally, as I looked at the beauty all around with nothing in any direction to obstruct my view, I felt awe and wonder. I could see the blue sky above, the bluer lake below. There were hills and trees, mountains, fields and orchards. I was reminded of an old hymn. "This is my Father's world. I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees, of skies and seas. His hand the wonders wrought." It was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. The opening of the parachute was quite a shock. The change in velocity was so great, it felt as though we were being violently yanked upward. As we floated down the last 1,000 feet, Jim adjusted the ropes to line us up with the designated landing site. As I'd been instructed, when we neared the ground, I raised my legs and we glided down into a sitting position. After a moment, we stood up. Jim unbuckled us, and I thanked him for a wonderful experience. Then, while he gathered up the parachute, a waiting vehicle took me back to the starting point where my kids were waiting. As they came toward me, Irene said, "You didn't go splat." I said, "Well, after the lawyer told me I couldn't sue, I didn't see any point in it." It's been over 15 years since I made that jump, but I'm still feeling the effects of it. Eleanor Roosevelt was right when she said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence with every experience in which you must stop and look fear in the face. You must do the thing you think you cannot do." I will always be glad I decided to take that leap of faith.